Okay, here's a topic that keeps on coming up. Did I really choose this life? You must be crazy, Jillian. So that's what we're going to talk about today is why you chose this life, because in fact you did, and why I am so insistent upon that and how it's actually a really good thing that you're experiencing a really hard time. Yeah, I know I'm full of it, but we're going to figure that out. This question came up quite a bit on my how reincarnation really works. It's also been a theme on the what really happens after suicide. I have to tell you, life is hard. I mean, I say that over and over again. It's hard. So let's just start there. I'll start on the same page. Life is really hard. And why did we choose a hard life? That's what we're going to talk about. Why we were crazy enough to sign up for this. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the beginning. But before I do that, let me talk about where I'm talking from and where this knowledge comes from. Okay, so for the past 35 years, I would say, I've been studying all things spirituality and religion and human psyche as well. I was a psychology major. I was a world's religions major for a hot minute. I've studied reincarnation, past life regressions, near-death experiences, mediums. I've read a variety of different spiritual books from people that have awakened, that are in awakened state and have been able to bring forth truer knowledge. I've read channeled information. Through all of this, I see a commonality about what the reality of this existence is. My job and goal and hope and dream is to bring this all together so that we can all understand what the reality of this world that we're living in, figure out how we can navigate it better so that we don't have to make things so hard. Okay, that's my goal. So subscribe if you want more of that. And one last thing, I'm sharing all of this information and I want to acknowledge this is coming through my human self. So I'm interpreting this. And so a Jillian veil, a Jillian lens is on this. And you should know that with anything that you read or absorb, if it's coming through a human being, it has their own particular experience on them. So I just want to own that before we dig into this, because your experience of this reality might look a little different, but I'm hoping that what I share can bring you to your truth a little quicker. Okay, so in the beginning, there was God. We'll start with that because I think it's important to understand the larger plan here on why we experience these things. We can use the word God. God can be triggering for people. I get it. I didn't always like that word. Source can also be a word that you can use. The universe, divinity, consciousness, love, all that is, you plug in your noun of choice. I'm going to stick with source because I feel like that's a little less triggering. Okay, so in the beginning, there was source, all that is. And source wanted to understand itself more. So what source did was broke off. This is the way I picture it. I know it's a lot more complex. This is the distilled down to what the human brain can comprehend version. Broke itself off into little tiny stars, little sparkles, little beings of light, and that is us. And there are different types. Some are meant to incarnate into physical form, some are not. Those are angels, for example, or angels are in that category. There are a lot of different types of beings. So we are of that. We are a little spark of God, of source, of the infinite. And we incarnate into physical form and we forget our divinity on purpose. That's the reason we come into form, is so that we completely forget how amazing we are and we find ourselves back to realizing how amazing we are. And by doing so, we learn and understand and deepen and really our appreciation for ourselves. Because how can we really know ourselves until we forget who we are? I mean, that sounds a little odd, but think about it this way. This was an analogy in Conversations with God that I really liked. The way it was put was that we are these bright beings and we are in a field of brightness. How can we even see how bright we are when we're surrounded with brightness and a bright light? Like if you had a flashlight out in the middle of the day, you wouldn't be able to see how bright that flashlight was, right? But if you go into darkness, if you take that bright light into darkness, oh, now you can see how bright that light is. That essentially is, in a very vague, general way, what we're going through here on Earth. We're going to talk about life on planet Earth. There are other planets out there. I don't have any knowledge about how their reincarnation cycles work. Since you're a human being right now, I figured I'd just talk about the human experience. So we came into physical bodies. These are animal bodies. They have been around for ever. Not forever. How long have humans been around? So human beings have been around for millions of years and have evolved on this planet in order to survive. So there are various different traits and aspects of our human nature that are not necessarily in alignment with who we are as spiritual beings, but that allowed this animal body to survive. So as we incarnate into this body, we experience these things that we don't experience on the soul level. Things like greed and lust and anger and, all of the complexity of the human being. And it can be very hard when the soul doesn't remember who it is that the human body runs the show. And so when the human body runs the show, bad things happen. Murders happen, rape happens, greed happens, theft happens, etc. And we do harm to ourselves and we do harm to other people, and we create a karmic story, a karmic cycle. Okay, so now we have karma, which is not punishment, but it just means imbalance. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong and so God is punishing you by giving you a horrible life. It's that you had a life where you murdered somebody, so you come into another life to balance out that karma in some way. Maybe you're murdered, or maybe you helped the person that you murdered, or whatever. Or maybe you were murdered, and so you need to balance it out in some other way. Everything needs to balance out. We love balance on this physical existence. So we choose to come into form to try to balance out the wrongs that we did or that were done to us so that we feel, okay, clear slate. That is wrapped up. Put that behind us. But also as part of this experience, besides accruing karma, we also accrue wounds. We get hurt. We get abandoned. We get left behind. We get deceived. Maybe it is through how we died. And so we collect a whole bunch of fears because we fell off of a high place and now we have a fear of heights. We were stoned by the village and so now we have a fear of others. Whatever it might be, we then carry these traumas around with us because we hold on to them. All of that to say, before you came into this life, you have all this history going back of all these different lives where you have been hurt or you have hurt others, where you have done wrong or wrong has been done to you. And you've got a big baggage of stuff that you need to empty out this baggage. So you come into this life to clear up some of that baggage and to give yourself another opportunity to awaken, which was the whole point in the first place, was to awaken to who you truly are, to see that you truly are a being of love and light and power and creation and amazingness. That's the whole point that you're trying to work towards. And while you're doing that, you're trying to kind of clear off your balance sheets as well. Because by clearing those off through that process, you're also, again, provided opportunities to learn and realize how amazing and powerful and wonderful you really are. Okay, so there you are on the other side. And you have healing that you need to go through. You have things that you want to realize or remember while you're in physical form. So you look at your life. Now, if you planned a life that was easy and light and full of love and joy and the kind of life that you really want to have. Unfortunately, when you're in a place where everything is fine, you don't have the need to try to grow or evolve or heal because things are good. You're good. So why would you deal with anything else? You realize that you need to set up situations in order to heal and overcome what it is that you're carrying with you and to release all of this stuff that's covering your light. I guess we could put it that way. So your soul, I'm going to use the analogy of like a surgery to kind of help you understand why you may have picked these really hard, challenging experiences in your life. So it's like you need a surgery, okay? It's like you need a surgery because you've got a screwed up knee, okay? And it really is not good. You're not walking around well, but if you go at a knee replacement, you're going to be great. Things are going to be fantastic because you're going to heal that knee and have a better knee in process. And you're going to be able to do so many more things with this new knee. But in order to get that new knee, you have to go through a surgery. And you know that when you go through the surgery, you're going to wake up and you're going to feel gross. You're going to be in pain. It's going to be a hard recovery. There's going to be a lot of exercises you need to do. It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. But eventually you will heal. You will be over it. And then you'll be better than you are now. Okay? Now, imagine that you go into the surgery, and when you get put under, when you wake up, you forget everything that happened beforehand. And so you wake up, and all you know is you have this immense pain, and you feel sick, and you feel gross, and you have all these exercises that you have to do. And people keep telling you that you're gonna be better someday, and you think they're full of it, because the only experience that you remember is to be in pain and to be in suffering. But you have to realize who you really are, was that person who chose to go through the surgery and the pain because you knew eventually you were going to be even better, that this was the thing that was going to fix you. This is the thing that is going to fix you, is this pain, is this suffering, are these hard exercises that you're doing, because they're strengthening you. They're making you realize how powerful you are. They're healing you. They're helping you let go of the wounds and the problems of the past so that you can be something new. But you do need to go through the healing process and the exercise process in order to get through it. Unfortunately, what happens is so many of us just are so focused on the pain, and we stay living in the pain that we never get through it to the healing. So, if you are in pain right now, the opportunity for you is to figure out how you can heal what it is your soul, what the surgery was that your soul planned, so that you can get through it to who you intend to be. Now, regardless, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Don't worry about that. But you can choose how quickly you get there. You can choose the slow route or you can choose the fast route. And by turning into the pain and to try to understand what it is you're trying to heal and how it is you're trying to grow and what it is you're trying to learn, you speed up the process. And then you don't have to do all of the hard exercises. The exercises can be a little light. I want to come up with something in the surgery analogy, like maybe you get a physical trainer or something, or a special cast for your leg or something. But there are ways that you can help yourself to propel yourself so that you're not having to live through this fear state or this pain state or this trauma state, and that you can move forward. And so the other thing to kind of keep in mind here is that it is not real. I know it feels very real, but to our soul, this is just a play that we're going through. This is just a video game that we're in. This is just a dream that we're dreaming. This pain is not real. What you're experiencing is not ultimately real. And I know you hate me for saying that. I get it. I would hate me too. But if you're able to realize that you don't have to identify with the pain, that it isn't who you are, that you are so much bigger than what you're experiencing, that is how you're going to get through this quicker. And the more quickly you can get to the place where you see yourself as a being of love and power, that's the magical ticket. That's the magical ticket. So you might be thinking, Jillian, you are stupid or crazy or wild or whatever negative adjective that you want to say, and say that I don't, it's really easy for me to say this, right? It's really easy for me to make light of a really hard situation. So I think it's only fair that I tell you about my life experience, my personal experience, how I went from the darkness into the light. I have not talked about this on YouTube before, so this is a little vulnerable and a little scary, but I think that it's important. I think it's an important story. And after all, if this is all just a dream, why should I be so worried about it, right? Okay, so when I was a child, I experienced sexual abuse when I was about 5 years old. I'm not going to get into the details of it because I don't think it's necessary to relive all of that trauma. I will say it went on for a period of time. It was not an isolated incident. I talk a lot about our lives being planned, and I think about, did I plan this, or was this something that happened? I think I planned to learn about power in this life. I think I planned to learn about power dynamics and about being powerless. I don't know if that was planned or if in the moment my soul saw it as an opportunity for me to learn from, and so signed me up for it, and signed me up for some damage that came along with it, right? My childhood growing up after that was really hard. I thought about murder as a child. I thought about suicide as a child, as a teenager. That was something I thought about a lot. I tried running away a few times, not very successfully, didn't get very far, but really just wanting to escape. I was completely identified with myself as a victim. That was who I was. And it was this dirty, shameful, horrible thing that I carried around that I could not talk to anybody about. I told my best friend, I think finally when I was 11 years old. I was the first person I told. I couldn't tell anybody without crying. It was like something was locked inside of me. And it was like I was just this damaged, broken person. When you look at my artwork from my teenage years, I was always like looking in a broken glass mirror because I believed I was broken. And then I was just somehow discarded or unlovable. It was awful. It was dark. I had started dealing with depression when I was 13. I literally thought I was going crazy. I literally thought I was losing my mind because I didn't know what depression was. And I had so much rage and so much sadness, and I felt so alone and abandoned and misunderstood. My moods, I was told I was overdramatic because nobody really asked what was the matter with me, and I was trying to act out what was going on with me as best as I possibly could. So that is part of my life story that I've experienced in this life. It has also affected my relationship with my body. It's affected my relationship with men, romantic relationships in general. It's not a good one. Don't recommend it. But I think in carrying around all of this pain and this darkness, I think it pushed me even further into spirituality. Would I have pushed for it if everything was okay? I don't know. But when you are carrying around every day this just sadness, anger, depression, pain, you're looking for something that can help you get through it and make sense of it. And so for some people, they turn to drugs. Luckily, that wasn't the path I turned to. Instead, I picked up Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss and got into Reincarnation and tried to understand what this story was that I was playing out and why I was experiencing this pain. When I was in my 20s, I finally got to the point where I realized that this was a wound that was perpetuating pain, and I needed to heal it. I needed to find a way to come to forgiveness so that I wasn't continuing to create more of this pain in my life. So I sought out therapy. But for me, it really was that concept of walking into the fire that really helped, where I really looked into my emotions and my fears and the things I was trying so hard to hide from and to not see. And I just went into them and allowed myself to feel them and release it and let it go. I tried to be in the place where I tried to experience what the situation was like for my abuser and why they made the choices that they may have done, and then try to have compassion or understanding for their experience, and then was able to get into a place of forgiveness for them and get in a place of forgiveness for myself, because I had a lot of complicated relationships and situations and feelings around my body. And so trying to have some compassion and understanding for myself and all of that. And I've thought about it, why this story for me, from a reincarnation perspective, because it's my gig. And as I've done different meditations and soul searching, I know that I have had previous lives where I have disrespected the human body, whether it was my own, like by being a prostitute, whether it was through other people, because I haven't always been a really wonderful person in my previous lives, and as all of us have done wrong in our previous lives. So this idea where I was really learning how to change my relationship with my body and with sexuality. And I still work on that. I'm still alive. I'm still working through those lessons. And I still, every day, am trying to just understand and grow and come to a place of love and acceptance as much as I can. So, if you told me that I chose that experience, I think at the time, it would have made me really angry for somebody to tell me that, whether it was my soul that chose it or whatever, because I was in such a dark place. But now I can see, if you take it from the moment of like, you chose it because you were brave and because you knew that there were things you would be able to get out of it, that there was ways that you were going to learn and grow. I look back at who I was in the first 25 years of my life and how far I came, and I am immensely proud of how I was able to heal and grow through that experience. And seeing my strength through all of that has allowed me to see how much strength I have, and to be able to see I have the capacity to forgive somebody who caused me so much pain and destruction in this life also allows me to see the capacity of my being and soul and what I am capable of. And even more than that, as I mentioned, I believe that one of my key lessons in this life is power. I was so identified with being a victim for the first 25 years of my life. So identified with it. And to be able to let go of that. I don't feel that way at all. I do not feel victimized. That is not something I carry with me. Like, I can talk about this on YouTube without breaking down into tears. It was something that happened to me in the past. It was an event that occurred in the past now. It is not something that is occurring to me now. I have let it go. I have let it go and healed, and have been able to see how strong and powerful I am, and how we are not victims. I understand how attractive the victim role is. I understand it. I have rolled up in it because there is something to it that is in some way comforting or empowering, or it feeds you in some way. That was at least my experience. Some of you might be yelling bullshit at me, but that was my experience, that it was an identity that I had. And I don't know, like somehow you get prizes for being a victim, or let me rephrase that. I don't know, but there's something about, like, for me at least, like by being the victim, I didn't have to own my power. Like, I could hide away from my power. And because I think, in past lives, I have had power, and I did not make good decisions with it. So for me in this life, it's about reclaiming my power and doing good with it, and taking power to create positive change in the world. Now, that's also something. Power doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be mean and brutal and taking away from other people. Power can be leading people towards something wonderful. Power can be helping people. Power can be showing people how powerful they are. And that's at least how I am working on using it in this life. I just know so many people on earth right now are suffering, and they're in pain, and their life situations are really hard and challenging and swallowing us up. I think there are probably even more people right now. I mean, there's more people on the planet, but I feel like right now it's possible that a lot of people are choosing even harder lives because we're really trying to grow. We keep on hearing about this beautiful time ahead. And so maybe we're trying to make the most of the struggle and the challenge while that's still an opportunity for us. It's an opportunity. These challenges and struggles and horrible things that happen to us are opportunities, but they are. What I really want is to help people that are in that place that I was in, that place where you feel you're just overwhelmed by it, and as if you're just caught up in the pain, and you think that this is all there is to life, to realize this is just a life experience. This is just a life situation. You are not the situation, and this situation can be released and let go of when you can unpack the opportunities that the situation is giving you, take those opportunities and run with them, and let this go in the past. You don't have to be identified with being a victim. You don't have to be identified with the hard things that are happening to you. It doesn't mean that they're going to go away, but you don't have to live in that identity. You can just let it be something that happened to you or something that is happening to you, and come back to who you really are, which is this big, beautiful, bright, amazing spark of divinity, of source, of God, of whatever, of light. You are light. I don't want to come off as flippant, because I know being in the place where things are hard, and when you are carrying around pain from the past and anger and abandonment and abuse and judgment and fear, and it's all really hard. I know that. But I don't want to live with you in your pain. I want to live with you in your strength. And so when I talk to you, I'm not talking to the you who is in pain and who is suffering and who is dealing with this situation. I am talking to the real you, the you that is powerful, that is full of love, and that is able to create anything that you want. You might not believe that for yourself, but I believe it for you. I know it. I know it for you. You do not have to exist in suffering. You don't. You do need to take action in order to get through it, but you don't have to live in suffering. I'm here if you want to work with me to help you get out of it and to help you find the lesson in it so that you can let it be a part of your past. I'll put a link to my website in the notes below if you want to work with me. I work with people through energy work and coaching to help you understand what the life patterns are that you're trying to learn so that you can learn them and be happy and be in a state where you don't feel like this is so overwhelming to you, where you see that this is an opportunity that you have created for yourself and get the opportunity out of it. Get the opportunity out of it. Get the opportunity out of it. Okay. With all that said, I think that was a lot. It was enough. It was enough, wasn't it? Good. Okay. Well, here's to let's create some nice things going forward. Okay. All great and good that we created these opportunities for us to wake up, wake up to how amazing we are, wake up to our divinity, just to wake up. But let's wake up in a nicer way. Let's choose a softer way, an easier way. We can. So let's sign up for that next. Okay, thanks.